This is David Mense, and this is video number 1 about institutional inequalities. I hope to eventually teach at a university upon completion of my doctorate. Since my experience has primarily been with community colleges and K-12 education, through this course I hope to gain some insight into issues in higher education environment that are relevant to the students in my future classes. So that's what I hope to gain from this class. In the same respect, since I do not formally work in higher ed and my prior experience is K-12, one of my concerns is that I hope I don't oversimplify complex issues because I lack the appropriate perspective, again, coming from the K-12 environment versus the higher ed environment. Some reactions to the readings. I wasn't really surprised that the elite, the Ivy Leaguers, end up with the elite jobs. The old adage, it's not what you know but who you know, seems to apply. That I found that to be true in many instances. I'm trying to assess this whole idea of setting your children up for success, for the best jobs with my own children. My younger son has joined a fraternity. Although it's not something that I ever did, and it adds a financial burden to my monthly budget, I feel this expense may provide opportunities for him upon graduation. So, in essence, I'm doing the same thing that the elite groups are doing, although obviously my income is much lower than the elite groups. My recent experience has been with my nephew and his job placement. He got a job directly out of college through a fraternity connection. And a dear friend of mine had talked about some of the connections he had made in his career based on the fraternity system. And that was enough to really help me wholeheartedly support this whole idea of Greek life. Those are the only two people that I really know that were in a fraternity, so I can, those are my reference points. My greatest surprise in the readings was the revelation of the shift in financial aid away from lower income students toward higher income students. I would never have guessed that was actually going on. I find the fact that prestigious colleges and universities garnish more Pell Grant money than community colleges to be almost criminal. I worked in the North Carolina Community College system for about 8 years, and a large percentage of my students were on Pell Grants. Without that Pell Grant funding, they were not able to attend the school. And so it just seems odd that this funding is now being sent toward those folks that have greater means than those lower income folks. One of the things that I think also, and this was brought up in the reading, was I think there needs to be a reevaluation of the tax codes regarding tuition credits. That might help with this inequality. Again, not a whole lot, but it'd be something. I think we also need to refocus on making higher ed more accessible to lower income students, but I don't feel that's likely in the current political climate. I just don't see it happening. I think we're going to have a greater divide in the next 4 years between those that have and those that do not. My one question, higher education had traditionally been the bastion for creative and evaluative thinking. It was a place where students were encouraged to disagree, to question what they had thought was the only truth. Is that still the case? Or has higher ed just become a preparation ground for employment, focused more on the end point than on the journey? Well, that's what I have for video 1, so thank you very much.